you wanna do it right, you can do it right now. You can change your life. If you wanna do it right, you can do it right now. Come on and change your life. Zakiya Larry live in the building.
Hi there. So it's all about elevation. So this is Zakiya Larry. And one of the things that we love to do here as journalists is find the stories, but also track the stories and get updates. And so the world remembers that just a year ago in 2017, two Category 5 hurricanes, Irma and Maria, back to back hit the U.S. Virgin Islands. Where are we now? Where are we today? I am so honored to be joined by my friend Beverly. Now, we call her Commissioner Nicholson-Doty. She's the Commissioner of Tourism for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's so good to see you again, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Beverly, this is a lot of unpacking to do, but we just set a bit of context. We understand inherently the devastation of one hurricane, but then a Category 5, and then two Category 5s. It's almost unfathomable. What's the recovery looking like for the U.S. Virgin Islands?
Well, I think, we really think our recovery, or we know our recovery, is a journey. So, things like infrastructure. There was immediate relief in terms of 2 to 3 months, and I know that we take that in context in terms of power restoration and road clearance and temporary roofing. So those things, we are at that first phase of moving towards being on the mend. But there are things that are going to take months, years, and we know that it's not a completion at the year mark. Our homes, hospitals, schools all have to be rebuilt. And I think that one of the human elements that we often don't think about is many families that have been separated during this time, the point of people coming back home. This is a long-term recovery, and we know that in terms of our tourism product, we're beginning to see that return. And we always say it is so great that we are a U.S. territory in the Caribbean, and the best thing that our people can do for the Virgin Islands is to visit the Virgin Islands, because so much of our economy is dependent on tourism.
That's excellent. So I've read a few articles and updates because I follow what's happening on the islands, and you've started to have some cruise ships starting to discuss coming back. Has that happened already, or is that already underway?
No, November 1st, we started to welcome visitors back to the territory.
Wow.
Cruise visitors, Airbnb, and about half of our hotel inventory is back in stock now.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because I know tourism is the lifeline in a lot of ways for USVI.
Yes, but the thanks really goes to the resilient people of the Virgin Islands. People that just, we said that not one storm, not two storms, so we may get knocked down, but we're not going to get knocked out. So I think that at the end of the day, people really realized that we have to rebuild. The same place that makes us geographically beautiful also makes us vulnerable. And with global warming and things of that sort, we really need to build stronger and hardening the infrastructure, because it's not really if, it's when the next storm will come in the area, and we just need to be more prepared in terms of building stronger. And so I really say hats off to the people of the Virgin Islands who really believe that we will rise again.
Absolutely. And it's that belief that I know for sure will bring people together, because
Absolutely.
One of the things I always say is people are unified only by two things: tragedy and triumph.
Yes.
And it sounds like right now we've shifted from tragedy into growing into triumph. So this infrastructure and the people are ready.
I think that you're so right. Storms are devastating. Either storms of man-made or natural disasters, but they can bring out the absolute best in people. And those are the stories that I absolutely feel honored that the NABJ family were so instrumental in telling. You know, oftentimes when one covers a storm, you know, especially in predominantly African American communities, we want to talk about, you know, the horrible things that happen. But, you know, we so often overlook those incredible acts of kindness. People that like are in the midst of having lost their roof and, you know, lost their possessions, but they're out feeding people, they're out helping their neighbors. And so I really am grateful for, you know, the members of NABJ that they told our story. They didn't just tell the story of tragedy, they told of the really good people and the kindness and, you know, those things that, you know, in disaster, you can bring out the bad, but, you know, in so many instances, we brought out the absolute best in people.
Wow, I'm getting chills. Let's talk a bit about your leadership. You have held this position not once, not 10 times, 12. 12 years?
12 years, yes.
12 years. You've seen a lot.
Yeah.
And what I love is you're still sharing about the people. It's about the human condition.
Yeah.
It may be a rhetorical question, but with the two storms hitting back to back, not even a year ago, would you say that this was a defining moment in your career? And was it the most difficult?
You know, I think that we've had challenges, and you know, I truly believe God doesn't give us more than we can bear. And so I look at this period and I say, thank you, Jesus, you know, because you brought us through. And so absolutely, was it a challenging time? It's very challenging because in that moment, you really, you're not thinking so much about you personally, but you're thinking about our people and will we be able to come back? You know, how do we make sure that we come out stronger? And I think that, you know, that's really when leaders are tested. It's not in the good times. We, you know, when we're riding high, you know, and we were at an incredible point prior to the storms where, you know, we were doing extremely well in tourism. It's at that point where you're knocked down and you can not only mobilize yourself, but you can mobilize the people around you to say, you know what, this is not our end. We don't go down like that.
Yes, and your passion is so evident. So let's shift a little bit, not to bring the tone down, but you shared something with me that was so compelling that I think many people never think about. We understand how people are impacted in storms, and we understand that lives have been lost. And we take time to acknowledge and honor that.
Yes.
But after the storm.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, the storm had its impact and to a lot of material things. And one of the things that, you know, we were extremely blessed in the fact that we didn't lose a significant amount of lives during storm, and every life is significant.
Absolutely.
But when you think about 2 Category 5s measuring over 200 miles an hour winds, it could have been worse. However, it's that aftermath in terms of being able to care for individuals and making sure that people, not just their physical, but their mental state and what stress can do to a community. And so certainly what we saw is that over the course of the last 6 months, that many people succumbed to illnesses or stress-related diseases. And so making sure that we're not just well physically, but making sure that we're well mentally is extremely important. And from a leadership standpoint, you know, I want to make sure that my team, that our team, that the wider community, that we are not just physically well, but that we're mentally well, and we are getting there. And I think that, again, it's a journey, and it's a journey that we are so confident that we're going to come out on top.
Absolutely. It's so compelling. A lot of people don't think about that, and yet I still see the resilience. As we sort of land the plane here, Commissioner, talk to us a little bit about your philosophy as a woman in leadership. So you have exhibited grace under fire. You've exhibited consistency. You've exhibited a heart for your people. And we are seeing a shift in our nation with women rising up and finding their voices. Was there ever a moment where you struggled, in which you struggled to find your voice? And how did you hold on to it to be the Beverly that we know and look to today?
Well, I live by a philosophy that Malcolm X.
Always a good source to live by.
That each one of us should teach one.
Oh,
and, you know, and if you go back to our good book, you know, and you really have faith and understand that trials may last for a night, but joy cometh in the morning, that you understand that your responsibility goes deep. And women in leadership, I think that it is important for us to seize the moment. And when you seize that moment, it is about not just your success or, in my case, the Department of Tourism. I tell my team all the time that, you know, the mission statement that is in law that says to increase visitor arrivals to the territory, that's important. And don't get me wrong, we appreciate the visitors that come to the USVI. But at the end of the day, our true goal is to enhance the lives of the people of the Virgin Islands. And so when you live by the fact that every day what I do and what our team does is so important to making sure that the people of the Virgin Islands have an enhanced state of living, that we know that, you know, that's an important calling for me.
Wow. Thank you for, one, the updates. You know, we gotta know. But thank you for giving us a peek inside of who you are as a woman, as a leader, as a compassionate being who yields a great power and does it so elegantly.
Well, thank you so much. And I just, you know, I can't leave without saying the Virgin Islands is still nice. We have beautiful stories to tell. And those stories go beyond our beautiful beaches. You know, experiencing the lovely people of the Virgin Islands, our culture, our heritage, our food. There's so much more to us than meets the eye.
I love it. So you need to get down to the Virgin Islands. As a matter of fact, I travel well with others. So reach out to me and we'll make this happen. And as a matter of fact, we will continue to stay in touch and stay abreast. Commissioner, how can we stay abreast and stay in touch with you? Social media platforms or for the island?
I'm on Facebook. Definitely usviupdate.com, and you know and if you know, one of the best ways to help the Virgin Islands is to visit the Virgin Islands. And for those that, you know, want to mix vacation with a purpose, you know, check out our information on Purpose in Paradise, how you can give back at an educational level, economic level, or environmental level. Whether it's 2 hours or 2 days, taking your vacation, having a great time, but also volunteering sometime is a wonderful way to help the Virgin Islands. So Purpose in Paradise is a way to combine both.
So innovative. I'm intrigued. So let's go. We'll talk about it offline. We're going to get our group together. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
it.
Wow. Thank you, Commissioner Nicholson-Doty, who has become a friend to me, and I'm so grateful for the efforts of everyone, the officials, the people of the U.S. Virgin Islands. So it's hard for me to do a 1-minute elevate, but I'm gonna do it because this is what it's about. Elevating from where you are, even if you're feeling a bit sad, to where you need to be. And what do I mean? You may have seen Commissioner tearing up a bit. She said that this was one of her most emotional interviews that she's had. So thank you, Commissioner, for joining us. And now it's time for your 1-minute elevate. Not to be overly conceptual, but in life, storms will come. It may ravage your heart, your mind, sickness in your body, your spirit, or even where you live. But as we've seen today, and as we continue to see across the board, that the resilience of the human spirit and the power of community will inevitably bring you through. You're not alone. Don't forget that storms pass, recovery is possible, and you've got a team behind you to help you get there, starting right here with the Zakiya Larry Live family. Well, that's your 1 Minute Elevate. I hope you have an incredible day and even an incredible last-minute vacation. Don't forget to check on people you love and people you don't even know. It's Zakiya Larry Live.
Zakiya Larry.